everyone, it is Tuesday, May 17th, and I am here to open up this week's diary entry. I always get hung up when I'm talking about the diary entry, but anyway, it's this week's reading and crafting vlog. I am out and about. As you can see, I am in the parking lot of my workplace. Had to come here and take care of something for a client, but I also wanted to let you know that I have finished two things since I talked to you last. I have finished A Man and His Cat, which is one of the monochrome manga club selections for the month of May. I really enjoyed that one. I ended up giving it 5 stars, but I'll talk more about that one when I do my series first impressions video. And then I've also finished The Fox and Little Tanuki. That one wasn't as good as A Man and His Cat, but I think it just needs a little bit more story in order to get me hooked in. The Tanuki is super cute, and the fox is rather feisty. I'm looking forward to seeing more character growth from the fox, but so far so good. I've enjoyed both of the selections, which has been quite a change from the 2 novels that I am still reading. I actually did not open up my audiobook at all yesterday, which is the Haunted Forest tour. I ended up doing a little bit of research on my lunch break instead of listening to my audiobook. Plus my daughter had come home. She's actually in a jury pool selection and has been for the last almost week now. So we're still waiting to see if she's actually going to have to serve or not. She's actually at the courthouse right now. But yeah, it's supposedly going to be a really long trial, the one that she's being sorted for. So it's going to be a long jury selection, I think. But she texted me a little while ago and said that she also finished The Fox and Little Tanuki before they went into the courthouse today. And she enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as A Man and His Cat for her either. So we both agreed on our feelings on those selections. I have started the second volume of Sailor Moon, the Eternal Edition. And so far, it's a story that I know, so it's nothing new. But yeah. I'm hoping to finish up Sailor Moon tonight and start on the Death Note Black edition. And then hopefully I'll get to listen to some of my audiobook on Wednesday, tomorrow, because I'm obviously not going to be able to listen to any of it today, considering I am using my lunch break to take care of this thing at the office. And then I'm on my way home to finish out my day. So yeah, that's pretty much my check-in for today. I will probably not check in with you until Thursday when we're at our monochrome manga club meeting, and then maybe we'll peruse some shelves there. I do actually have something else to shop for, the Manga Pride readathon that's being hosted by Bizarre Individual, Dynamic Dylan, and it's Rachel, though I think her channel name is called Rachel Catherine now. The links will be down in the description box below, but the Manga Pride readathon is back. Bizarre has set up put out his announcement video. I'm super excited because I was wondering if it was going to come back, and so I definitely want to purchase some titles for that, though I do have some on my shelves already as well. There is a bingo board again this year, and so yeah, on top of Read Your E-Reader and Whatever-thon, I'm going to be participating in the Manga Pride readathon. It's going to be an eventful June, I think, so I'm excited about that. But now I've got something else I need to shop for, so we'll definitely be doing some shelf perusing when we're at the Barnes & Noble on Thursday, so I'll check in with you then. I hope you're all having a good one, and I will talk to you in a bit. Hi everyone, it is Thursday, May 19th. I'm here at the parking lot of the mall. We do have our manga club meeting tonight. I actually just finished reading the last of Death Note. So let's start by filling you in as to what I've read since I talked to you last. I did end up finishing the Haunted Forest tour. I think that's what it's called. I finished that one. I think it was good if I was just looking for like a haunted, like slasher type of story. Those parts were definitely interesting. There's a lot of gore, lots of very descriptive scenes where you're getting, people being eaten or pulled apart and things like that. So if you like those types of stories, I think you'd like Haunted Forest Tour. But there were too many instances where men were having lecherous thoughts about the women around them. And I just didn't think that added anything to the story. And it's not something I'm interested in hearing. So I ended up giving that one a 3.5. So it ended up as a 4 on Goodreads because they don't do half stars, and I always round up. So 3.5 for Haunted Forest Tour. Then I finished Sailor Moon, the Eternal Edition, Volume 2. That one is for the manga club meeting tonight. I enjoyed it, I guess. It was still a story that I know because it is the first season, I guess, of the anime, which is the only season that I've watched. So everything I've watched has been concluded in these 2 Eternal editions. So next month's volume will be new material for me. So I think I'll be more interested in reading next month's volumes than I was in these volumes, just because I already knew what happened in these volumes, and I don't know what's happening in the next volumes. So I'm looking forward to next month's volumes. This month's volume, again, probably a 3.5. And for me, 3.5 really means that I would recommend it. I would just not reread it. And so I mentioned that I just finished Death Note. So we finished the 5th Black Edition. So we're on the second to the last section of the story. And this was hard for me to get through. I'm not going to lie. It took a lot longer for me to read this than it did for me to read the Eternal Edition of Sailor Moon. I don't know. It just seems like we're going round and round and round, and everything's just getting so convoluted. And I feel like in this particular section of the story, there's just so much text that some of the little like boxes, the text was just so there was just a big fight in the parking lot behind me. I think they're gone now, but anyway, what was I saying? I feel like some of these boxes of illustration were like taken over by the text. And I don't know if it's just because the word translations that were used, like the English words, were just so much larger than the Japanese characters took up. But it was like, I don't know, like so much space was being taken up by text that you might as well not have had the illustrations there. It was just so distracting, and it made it hard for me to focus on the words. It was really weird. But like I said, I kind of already know this story because I've seen the entire anime. I have heard that the end of the manga is different from the anime though. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this will all conclude next month. And again, this one's probably a 3.5. So we're not doing too great again this month. We have 3 things finished this week. All of them were 3.5s. I mean, it's not a bad rating, but I just can't seem to get that, oh, this was really good. I think I've had 1 or 2 maybe this month. I've had a 5-star for sure. A man and his cat, I think I mentioned that in the previous clip. But yeah, I'm just not feeling great about the fact that I can't get like really good. I definitely reread that type of ratings. But today I started the 4th book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, which is the Battle of the Labyrinth. And I'm listening to that on an audiobook. I am enjoying that one, so I'm looking forward to continuing with that. So tonight, like I said, we are having the manga club meeting. Right now, I have to go inside and pick an alternate selection for next month because they could not get in the selection that I had asked for. So now I have to go find an alternate selection really fast. It's really, really disappointing because I try to plan things out in advance so that we can get things in, and just the supply issues are just crazy right now. So I need to go do that before the meeting starts. Then we're going to do some shopping so that I can pick up some things for the Manga Pride Readathon next month. And then as far as the rest of this week goes, I really want to participate in the 48-hour Bookopoly-thon Readathon. That's starting tomorrow, so that's Friday for me. I think it's starting in the late afternoon for me tomorrow on Friday. So yeah, I'm glad to be done with the work week. It was another stressful one, but next week's going to be even more stressful because my coworker decided she was going to go on vacation next week. She kind of has to because she's got to burn the days. But that means I'm going to be the lone wolf in the office all week. So stress is coming for me. But for right now, I'm just going to try to enjoy myself, talk about some manga, look at manga, shop for manga, and then hopefully participate in a fun readathon to finish out the week. So that's pretty much all I've got for you right now. I hope you're all having a good one, and I will talk to you later. So I've done a terrible job at taking you around the store. Our manga club meeting is done, and so we've already done a little bit of shopping. So this is what our stack looks like right now. So we've picked up so far, Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games. And I think this is about 2 girls who are competing against each other in video games, and I think it might turn into a girl's love. But it doesn't actually say that. So we've got volumes 1 and volume 2. And then my daughter was interested in Adachi and Shimamura. This is the light novel edition. So we're going to pick up volume 1 of that. We've got This Wonderful Season with You, which is a BL about a jock and a nerd. And so my daughter was interested in that, so we're going to pick that one up. That one is a rather thick volume. So, interested to read that one. And then, I don't think I have this volume, but I needed to complete our collection. So we're going to go ahead and pick that up. That's the last volume of Yoshi no Zurikara. The frog in the well does not know the ocean. And so, that's what we've got so far. We are still looking at the shelves right now. So, I will take you around, and then once we're done picking out things, I'll check back in with you. Okay, so here is the final stack. We're going to pick up volume 5, 4, 3, and 2 of A Man and His Cat. We just read this one for the club. Really enjoyed it, and I was surprised at how much I did. Cat Gamer. I just added this one to my to-read list today. I didn't expect to see it here in the store because I don't think it's actually out yet, but it was on the shelf here, so I decided to go ahead and bring that one home. It's a Dark Horse title. Another one for the Manga Pride Readathon. This is The Girl I Want Is So Handsome, the complete manga collection. I'm looking for Serious Love for the Manga Pride Readathon. And then these are the other ones that I had shown you before. So a pretty large stack of manga this time. And this doesn't even include everything I've got on hold for me right now because I put in my planned purchases list at the beginning of the month, so some of those came in and they are behind the counter, so I need to pick those up as well. But pretty successful shopping trip, I would say. Got some titles for the Manga Pride Readathon plus a few extras, so I think I did a good job. And so I'm going to check out right now and I'm going to head home, so I will talk to you later.
Hi everyone, it is Saturday, May 21st, and I am here to wrap up this week's diary entry. So, I think I talked to you last on Thursday, so we were at the store, I showed you my manga haul, right? And so, since then was Friday, we had some errands to run, and that was actually a very stressful turned out to be a very stressful day. So yesterday I basically just vegged out after we came home. We were out for a good portion of the day. And so, yeah, kind of just took it easy at home last night because it was very stressful yesterday. We started a new Korean drama. We started watching a drama called Move to Heaven. And we started watching this because on my YouTube feed, there was a small documentary done on lonely deaths and trauma cleanup companies. And I do watch a lot of true crime at home. So some true crime channels. And so it makes sense that something like that would come up on my feed. But one had come up earlier this week. And we were watching it, and then a couple days ago another one came up on my feed, and that particular one had mentioned this drama, and I had no idea that there was this drama about trauma cleanup companies. And so in this drama, it's on Netflix, Move to Heaven. It follows young man who has Asperger's syndrome, and he and his dad work their company, which is called Move to Heaven, and they basically go and clean up the living spaces of people who have passed. So there's several different cases where you have, say, an elderly person who had passed away and hadn't been found for like 3 weeks, and so dealing with the kind of, I don't know how to say this without being very specific, but you know what happens when a body starts to decompose, right? And so they go in and they clean that up, but they not only do that, they pack up all of the belongings for the family. There's another one where a young man got hurt on the job and he ended up passing. And so they're cleaning up his room for their family, the boy's family. And there's another one where this wealthy family lost their son and they couldn't bear cleaning up his room, even though it was within their own house, and so they get hired to go in and clean and basically pack up his room and things like that. And so there's a little bit of a scientific aspect where they're cleaning things, and things like that. But there's also little like mysteries that get solved in the belongings that were left. So like the very first case we see is the one where the young man gets hurt on the job, and throughout Move to Heaven cleaning up his room, you know, they find like his cell phone and receipts from this like convenience store he used to go to all the time, and they try to like put together his life, and then they end up delivering the contents of his room to his family members, who are being told by the company that their son didn't die from an injury on the job, but there are things within the contents of what was left in the man's room that clearly state that he was killed on the job. And so things like that, they're able to find things to like help bring closure to someone, not necessarily a family member, but someone. And so yeah, it's really interesting because you do get that scientific aspect with them like disinfecting the room and what they do in different situations when people have like lonely deaths, which is kind of like the term that they're using for people who pass on their own and maybe aren't discovered for a while and things like that. And so, yeah, we're about halfway through the drama already. And it's been a while since we've kind of marathon watched a drama. It's been very enjoyable. So I have a feeling we're going to be finishing out that drama rather quickly. Plus there are a couple of recognizable actors in the drama. So yeah. Also because our main character in this show has Asperger's, you can kind of see how his mind works very much in the same way like how it's presented in the Korean drama Good Doctor. But also, if you haven't seen the Korean drama Good Doctor, but have seen The Good Doctor, the US like adaptation of that Korean drama, the way Sean's mind works there, it's kind of similar. So it's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it. And so, yeah, enjoyed that. As far as reading goes, I started 2 more books. So I am currently 1 chapter in, 20 pages into Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. So you can kind of see the girl there. I need to read at least 100 pages of that for my TBR game so that I don't have to pull a punishment. So I figured I better get a start on that because I've only got a week and a couple days left to the end of the month. And so I need to get to 100 pages. So I did do that. I also started Cirque Berserk by Jessica Geis? Picture here. This is borrowed from Kindle Unlimited. It's a horror story about a amusement park that had several murders occur in it in like the 80s, and now we're jumping ahead. I think it's at 30 years, and we've got a group of teens who I think they're getting ready to graduate from high school, and they're having like a last hurrah. They rented a party bus, and so they still had time on their party bus rental after they did whatever they were planning to do, and decided that it might be fun to visit Cirque Berserk. And so that's kind of where I am right now. In this book, I presume that something's going to happen, because my understanding is that the murders that were done in the 80s at Cirque Berserk, the killers were never found, And so I'm wondering if maybe the killers are still there or have returned and they're going to like go after these kids. So this one's a short one. It's one that I wanted to read for Horror Mayhem and for the National Lampoon Vacation Readathon hosted by Lee over at Dark Roots Creations. I've been very, very behind on my reads for that readathon, and I haven't read as many horror books as I wanted to this month. It's been difficult again this month. And so, yeah, even with my rereads, it's just been slow going, and I'm just not feeling the reading again this month. And so now I'm feeling kind of stressed because I need to get stuff done before the end of the month. And so, yeah. I'm supposed to be participating in the 48-hour Bookoplathon readathon, and yesterday was stressful for me, and so I just ended up not reading. And I haven't even checked in today on what the dice rolls were or the prompts that came up were, because I've been filming all day, and yeah, things are just not working out for me, and it's making me a little bit stressed out, and I'm a little bit unhappy, and yeah, but you know, it is what it is. I am still reading. I did really enjoy what I read of Cirque Berserk last night, so I think I'm just going to continue with that one for right now. Maybe I'll get that one done relatively soon, since it is short. We shall see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been filming a lot today. This is the last video that I'm going to film, but I do need to film some more tomorrow. Film at least my polls for my TBR game, and then try to figure out how to fit those prompts in with all of the readathons I want to participate in June. So right now, those are Whatever-thon, Read Your E-Reader, and the Manga Pride readathon. So yes, lots of readathons. I'm going to try to predominantly read off of an e-reader next month, besides what I need to read for my manga club, the Monochrome Manga Club, and any of the Manga Pride reads, because there's not a lot of digital LGBTQIA plus manga available through Azuki, which is a manga subscription service that I have a subscription for this year. In fact, I'm really surprised that they don't have more LGBTQIA plus manga on their service. When I went to look for the tags, they only had Shonen Ai and Shoujo Ai, and there was only like 1 or 2 titles under each of those genres. So that's not great. A lot of the BL titles that are on Kindle Unlimited are very mature, and I don't necessarily like to read that often. I need something else. And so I've picked up, as you saw, some titles physically when we were at the Barnes & Noble. I do still have a couple that I didn't read from the readathon last year, plus I have a couple that I've just been continuing to purchase from titles that I read last year. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to be reading digital titles for the Manga Pride readathon, or I'll be reading a majority of titles from my physical library for that. But everything else I want to try to read off of an e-reader. So whether I have to borrow an electronic copy from my library through either Overdrive or Libby or Hoopla, or borrow something from Kindle Unlimited, or read something from my Kindle library, those are what I'm going to primarily want to read. So yeah, I do have lists. I've already made some lists of some possibilities for things to read, so I've got a wide variety of selections. It's at least pared down my library for me a little bit, which will help. That doesn't mean that I'll be reading off of those lists, but it'll give me some kind of a guideline. So I've got that I need to do. The TBR game filming tomorrow. Next week, my coworker has decided to take vacation, so I'll be on my own in the office, so I foresee it being stressful. But yeah, it is what it is. I just have to take it one day at a time and read as much as I can without stressing myself out. I think that's just the best game plan right now. So I have been doing a little bit more knitting. I haven't knit any more on my daughter's sock, but I put in one more repeat in my Moonstruck socks, but now I'm behind because I should already be on the heel, and I'm not. But to be fair, that one section that I put in on the Moonstruck sock, I had to rip back twice and redo because my mind just wasn't with it and I couldn't concentrate. So I haven't touched that sock in like 4 days, I think, just because I was so frustrated with myself and not being able to stick to or concentrate on the lace pattern. So yeah, I definitely want to get back to that one. I want to put in a couple more repeats on my daughter's sock, but seeing as we're into a Korean drama right now, a lace pattern or cables is not really the great thing to be knitting on during that. So I'll probably pull out one of the shirts that I am currently working on if I do decide to knit. I'm still don't have my mojo back for that either. So yeah, kind of junky to be on a downward spiral at the end of this week. But you know, it is what it is, and things can't be all happy all the time, I guess, right? The main thing is that I am continuing to try to find my happy, whether it be reading or knitting or whatever. I still haven't even played my video game that I worked so hard to try to set up the video game capture for. We have not done that. I don't foresee that happening this week either. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that's happened this week. I am thankful that it has been on the cooler side. The temperatures have dropped. It's in the low 70s right now, which makes me very happy. And so that's something to be happy about. So that's pretty much all I've got for this week. Let me know down in the comments below what readathons you're going to be participating in. Have you already filmed your TBR game or put together a TBR for yourself for the month of June? Let me know if you've been watching any interesting TV shows or if you're interested in watching Move to Heaven. I'd love to know that as well. I do recommend it so far. Like I said, I'm halfway through and I'm really, really enjoying it. Or if you've watched a Korean drama that you've really enjoyed, let me know that down in the comments below as well, because I'd really love to get back to watching Korean dramas. I think for the most part, the American TV shows that I watch are slowly winding down for the season. I think. I know several have already. But yeah, I think we're coming to a wind down on those. So that's usually the time where I'm like, Korean dramas! And, you know, that type of thing. Or let me know something interesting that you've watched. I'd love to know that as well. Let me know your favorite book of the week, or if you've had a least favorite book of the week. Just chat with me down in the comments below. I'd love to know what's going on with you and what you've been doing. If nothing else, you would just like to let me know that you were here. If you could leave me a blue heart emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.